This is part 2 of my interview with Jamal Taylor. How are you feeling, man?
Oh man. Oh geez, Rick. I feel. I don't know, man. I'm in a different place. Just trying to keep my head above water, man. I've been in the crib. Tried to watch If Bill Street Could Talk, man. That movie's very, very sad. Have you seen it?
No, I have not seen that. What is it about?
So basically, from what I get from the story, it's about these. It's a James Baldwin novel, and it's this girl. She's telling like how I'm not sure what time era this is in. It looks like it's the fucking 60s, and how she fell in love with her like childhood sweetheart, and he ends up in prison because he got accused of like violently raping this girl that he didn't do. He was like,
It was a false accusation.
Yeah, the shit they did in the 60s.
Right.
And now they're like trying to find out where this woman is, and basically telling like it's like Crooklyn.
I've seen Crooklyn.
Yeah. So if you've seen Crooklyn,
I've seen it on Bill Street, or what was it called?
If Bill Street Could Talk.
If Bill Street Could Talk. I don't remember anyone getting falsely accused of rape
So it's like
in
Monster.
Crooklyn.
You ever seen Monster? Red Monster? Or is it Monster? The book? It was that book by somebody.
No, I haven't seen Monster or Red Monster. No.
Monster. It's like a black novel that they had us read in elementary school.
I missed that one. Yeah, I didn't see. I didn't read Monster. I'll read it, but
It's one of them black novels that they have you read. It's always some trauma.
Yeah, like the Lorraine Hansberry and the purple under. Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah. They're all usually pretty good.
Yeah. They're never off.
Yeah, that's what happens when you teach kids about their culture and they end up seeing parts of themselves but you seem like you're okay.
I'm better than I was the last time I came in
Yeah,
here.
you did seem a little down still.
Yeah. Now I'm just realizing like I just gotta go to the gym, maybe work out, and do all types of fun shit. Do what white people like to do. Go harass some black neighbor or something. Well, I don't have many black neighbors to harass, so they'll start harassing me. So I just kind of keep to myself.
Well, I don't want to keep asking you about what happened if it takes you to a bad place. Is
what happens in what terms?
Well, the last time we were talking, we didn't get that long to elaborate on it, but it just seems like that there was a progression, like a build up to you going into the psych ward. Like you said, your house had burned down, and that you had talked to a friend about another friend's passing, and that really had a large effect on you.
Oh yeah, that shit was. I guess the women in my life crying really, really triggers me for some reason, and it's just like, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know how to beat this. But as I realize more and more, I have bipolar depression.
And that was diagnosed?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like, damn. Anything could trigger me. So I guess having those triggers and then being like, well, no, now I know what mania is. That's just pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Because I could have died every time I made a decision, but I didn't die. So I'm pretty lucky to come out of that thing alive.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier when we were outside waiting for a room that I've had my own troubles staying sane or not going over a certain point mentally. The only thing that I could say helped me is that I seem to have at the core of me a voice or something that I identify with as a voice that seems to stay pretty consistent no matter what mind state I'm in, and I use that to ground myself into whatever stability that I need. Do you have something similar? I mean what, because as much help as you did get, really the way that I think of it, you can only really bring yourself back from something like that.
Yeah, you can. You're the only person that can.
Yeah. So well, just to talk about something positive first, how do you think that you brought yourself back?
I mean, I could have been actually homeless or stayed homeless tweaking. I actively lost my mind. Actually been one of these people in the corner just talking to themselves. Just like you see it happening and you're just like, damn, you could have been that person. But luckily I was able to realize like these are just voices. I know I'm tweaking. I know I need to be in a hospital somewhere. Like at first, when I went the first time, I knew I needed to be in the hospital. When the second time, I didn't think I needed to be in the hospital. But I'm glad I went to the hospital the second time because my head was fried. It was fried. But now that I come back out of it, it's just like, dang, I wish I wouldn't have said certain shit. I wish I wouldn't have did certain shit. But luckily, I have this. Now I have a reason. Like I had a reason. Well, the doctor just gave me a reason. Like, yeah, you're going through mania. That's what happened to you. And luckily, I had people that understood what was going on with that, and I was able to bounce back with my friend, especially with my social life. I was able to bounce back because everybody got a whiff of what that mania was, and now that I'm better, I can be like, man, let's hope it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I wish you the best in all respects, because that's not an easy thing to deal with by any means.
It was like the military, home life, and then relationships, all in.
What branch were you in the military? Do you mind talking about what that was like?
It was boo boo.
How so?
Too many white people.
That was your main issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
It really be it. It'd just be like, there's too many white people here. And they come from such a...
So it just didn't, it was too foreign.
Yeah, it was like served in the Chinese military.
Okay.
It was like, I can speak the same language, but like, we are not the same people.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that, and culture shock, just not having anything that you can relate to. Yeah. Were there any aspects of being in the Navy that you enjoyed?
That's a good question, Tom. I guess the friends that I made was probably the only thing, and somewhat of the money I was making. Other than that, it was just like, this shit again.
Why'd you decide to go?
I was drinking too much.
Oh, okay. So you felt like that would give you some structure, or just make you become completely sober, or what?
I'm mostly sober now. Like, drinking is a hassle to me. And it's just like, the time I spent getting drunk, I could have spent working on my life. The time I spent high, I could have spent working on my life. But now that I have all this free time, I'm just in my own head. So it's just like, I gotta find a way to bounce back out of it.
Yeah, idle time is where the devil lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where he has a fucking two bedroom fucking apartment.
Yeah.
Rent fucking free.
That is his space.
He's a Chicago nigga.
um, I don't know, man. What do you think about all this? Like, have you drawn any meaning out of what you've gone through?
Too much meaning. I was like, I was immature. I was brash. I was impulsive. I was too big-headed, and it was just like trying to. Well, after I realized what I was doing wrong, I was just like, damn. And I think most of that came from actually losing, not even losing, but dealing with a bad breakup, or what could have been a bad breakup, is what made me kind of snap out of it. Like yeah, bro, you are tweaking, because it's super affecting more than just you. And to see someone who's more outside of my life tell me like, yeah, I don't think you're okay.
Right, we were talking about something like this earlier. I was telling you that I myself have a tendency to isolate myself and be alone, but very recently I've been making an effort to surround myself with my friends more often, and it sounds like that's part of what helped you come back from this is your interactions with people that you care about.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if I didn't have certain people be down for me when that had happened, I probably would have lost my mind. I'm not gonna say who right now, but
Mm-hmm.
those people know who they are because I'm making an effort to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you really don't think about it, but we are at our core. We're social animals, and until something like that happens, it's easy to forget that. Because American culture, it really puffs up your ego, and it's all about the individual and how much I can do, and how successful I can be. Or
social media kind of amplifies that.
It definitely does. Yeah.
Like when I quit social media, I think I should have got the hints when I quit social media that I was tweaking. Because the reasons why I quit social media was definitely because of paranoia. And
What were you paranoid about?
just people watching me. I got tired of people watching me. I was aimlessly scrolling down Twitter all the time, just like just looking for something that's new all the time.
Getting a dopamine rush.
Yeah, getting a rush from that shit. Now I was just saying dumb shit just to get a rush, just to get a couple retweets, so people can say they sympathize with me through some retweet button. Oh man, this is really redundant.
Yeah, it's not at all a substitute for like genuine human interaction.
And that's what I was missing out on. I was spending so much time on Twitter and not enough time with people. I'm like, I don't mind being with people, but if I'm gonna be forced to be isolated, then that's what it's gonna be. And I kind of force myself in isolation because everybody wants to be on Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah, it's so obvious what's happening, and it doesn't seem like people are changing. Like the companies, I don't see much from them in terms of saying, hey, don't use this all day, or just be wary of the effects that it has on your mind, which in one respect I understand because they're businesses and it's not really business savvy to tell people not to use your product more, but at the same time you're messing people's lives up, and there should be some responsibility or accountability for that. What are you thinking about doing with your newfound? I mean, do you feel like you have a new lease on life? Are you pumped? Or like, what's up?
I'm as energized as a 60-year-old man right now.
Why?
because I'm so young that I have nothing to fucking do besides work or go to school.
I think there's a lot of people in the same predicament.
Yeah, and the shit blows. The shit blows because now it's just like, what the fuck do I do after college? Or because you have to maintain this until you die.
Well, that's not the best way to.
That's how I've been seeing it. I have to maintain this shit till I die.
Okay, well, let me. Well, okay, all right. I'm not that much older than you, but most of my life I feel like I've been depressed. All right, so I think I have a little bit of experience with this mindset. So I'm gonna shed some light on you real quick. That I was to the core for most of my teenage years a nihilist, and that pretty much means to me that I had no direction. I was listless, and I had no motivation, and school was not a challenge for me. The challenge for me was motivate myself to meet a challenge and to have a fire and to have a passion, because you could sit and think about how everything has no meaning, or you can find one for yourself. That to me is the answer. The answer is that there is no answer. You have to make up your own answer. That's what being a man and what being an adult is. You have to make this shit work with your own two hands. And somehow that has to work.
And that seems very, 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 very exhausting already. The more I think about it, I'm just like, damn, I have to do this shit until I turn 70.
You don't have to do anything, but if you want some meaning in your life, you do have to do something. But
yeah, it's like, what do I do that's meaningful? And now I'm just at a point that's just like, gee.
Well, the best thing for you to do if you don't have anything right now is to just try a bunch of different shit until something clicks in you. You'll know it. You'll know it when you find it, because it's. Have you ever been you play sports, right?
No.
You've done something in your life where you've had to practice at it, right?
Yes.
Like what? Skateboarding. So you've had this state where you're not really thinking about anything, but because you're focusing very intently on performing something, you're able to not be inside your head, right?
Sometimes.
So that's anything that you practice and devote a lot of time to, is that the added benefit of also being able to do it well is the mindset that it gives you in terms of not being able to be neurotic.
This shit gets hard. Like, the skateboarding shit gets really hard.
Mm.
It's harder than it looks.
As most things are, yeah.
Yeah. And, like, I'm still teaching myself the basics.
Mm. Same with me and my pursuits.
And it's like, I want to hit that level of professional so quickly, but I think the less I try and focus on professionalism, the more I would probably be having fun.
I get what you're saying. That's very important.
I want to do it so clean and effortlessly.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't have to really worry about it. But because I'm an amateur or a novice, it really gets in the way of the fun. Professionals just know how to have fun because they've done the small work already.
I completely understand what you're saying. It's almost like a paradox. You have to work extremely almost, and you have to put on almost insane amount of effort into something to get to a point where you can do it effortlessly and unconsciously, but you also want to enjoy it. And it is very possible to get burned out in doing something that you enjoy, trying to get good at it. So yeah, I do understand. I understand what you're
getting burned out from skateboarding.
But I know that it doesn't feel like this, but in the frustration of practice comes, it's better than the frustration of doing nothing. That's the way that I've looked at life recently. No matter what you choose to do, you're going to come up against obstacles and uncertainty and frustration. But being a person who was very nihilistic and who didn't have the work ethic, I much rather face the frustration of trying than the hopelessness of not trying.
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as I can see, that just leads to death.
It'll make you suicidal too.
Yeah.
Just not doing shit all day.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just realize, what have I done so far? Which is absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And then if you're like me, you're just relentlessly hard on yourself, and it's a nasty cycle.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
I have to break myself out of this cycle today by coming here and trying to go skateboarding and maybe go to the gym.
Yeah, this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to talk to you about this, because I feel like when you listen to yourself later, it'll be a good reminder of all the things that you don't want to happen again.
Definitely don't want to be going through this shit again.
Yeah.
I definitely just don't want. I don't want to be put in a place where I don't have shit else to do.
Mm.
It's fucking exhausting. I'd rather be working or working towards some type of goal.
Mm.
But I don't have a goal in mind, so it's like I'm working at every day.
Well, your first goal is to find a goal.
And maintaining that goal, maintaining that effort to get a goal
Mm.
and achieve that goal should be always in the front of your mind.
Mm.
And everything else should just fall into place too. Well, at least some shit.
Concern yourself with the goals of today, and you don't have to worry about tomorrow. I feel like you're going to be. I don't see you going through this in the same way anymore. You're too smart for that.
That's what people keep telling me. I'm like, where's this education?
It's not education I'm talking about. It's just you're self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
You can just tell. There's people who aren't, and there's people who are, and you're not delusional
Anymore.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So I was asking you earlier, the last time we talked, about what you thought was keeping us all from coming together. Do you have any more to add to what you said? You were just, if I remember correctly, you were saying that people don't understand each other's suffering, and I really like that.
I did say that. I don't think people care
At all?
I don't think people have the luxury of caring about everybody.
That's very true.
And I think that's what the problem is. You see all these rich people getting along. Because they're like, oh, what the fuck I had to be mad at you for? If I don't like you, I can just drive away in my Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still be happy. And they'll still be happy too.
Why should anyone go out of their way to help someone?
that's the meaning of life.
Mm-hmm.
Then you know that famous picture, famous painting of man and God.
Mm-hmm.
He's reaching toward him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think that's like the biggest key of life is to give him a helping hand.
Hmm.
That's the meaning of life. Help him out.
Do you think that we've dug ourselves as a world too deep in the hole to start doing that more?
No, I think it's territorial things that make it hard for people to want to help each other too. It's just like
We're stuck in that mindset of our countries and the borders and
yeah, protecting our wealth
mm-hmm.
and people like it that way.
Hmm.
People
Wow.
like being an American.
Yeah, they do.
Some luxuries you don't have in every country
Mm-hmm.
because of some odd reason.
Chance.
You have these nations that want to garner all the resources. They want power. They want greed. Even America wants a lot of shit from other countries that it can't. They probably shouldn't be going afterwards, but it comes with a price. That's the blood of other people.
Hmm. Do you think it matters? Okay, if the end result is world unification, does it matter if it comes through force or through like people optionally like choosing to all come together, or one country forcing everyone to come together?
I don't think we should even come together anymore. I think we should go towards tribes.
Just very small groups of people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Go towards tribes. Because the co-country thing is getting out of hand.
It is.
Like, imagine not having to be accounted for. Imagine somebody, like, people in other countries hate us because of Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go anywhere and be hated because of some white man. And I think it's very fucked up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Some white man who hates everybody is now having, like, is now the reason why a lot of people are hated.
Mm-hmm. Well, people hate us for a lot of reasons, and he definitely is one of them. But I do like your idea of tribes because it would reverse. I don't think we would be able to sustain a lot of the technology and a lot of the creature comforts that we have, but we didn't need them up until very recently, so we really don't need them at all.
Like, imagine Chase Bank having a tribe.
They couldn't really.
Imagine if you went to, like, if you were working for Chase and Chase was like, and the world was like, hey, well, fuck this government shit, it's not working out.
Mm-hmm.
And Chase was like, hey, you want to be adopted into our tribe? I think people do it.
I mean, isn't that kind of how it works right now?
A little bit, yeah. I think it's how it works right now. It's just like,
but on a smaller scale.
On a smaller scale. It's like if everybody had a small business.
That low key is weird how the mind works and how the world works, because if you think about it in a way, with technology, that is sort of where it's going. If you work in a job that's going towards automation, your best bet is probably to strike out on your own and try to do something on the internet or something that isn't going to be swallowed up by automation. So maybe we are going to do that, Jamal. Maybe you're ahead of the curve a little bit.
That's what I've been thinking. Maybe because, like, look, all these companies are replacing everybody with robots.
Mm-hmm.
They said in the next 15 years, at least 45% of jobs are going to be replaced by AI.
Mm-hmm.
So So it's like, and then they're gonna have to find a livable wage for everybody to live on.
Yeah, we cannot sustain growth at this rate. We have to draw back a little bit and just and be happier with less.
Yeah. Like we're gonna go into dystopias.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible. We have all these. We have like 36 people running presidency now.
I like that though. I like the variety.
I think Trump reminded people that you can be anything. You can be anybody over 35.
Right.
I think he reset the calendar.
Yeah, he reminded everyone that we should have more choices.
Yeah. Like our options should not be either Hillary Clinton or Trump.
Yeah.
A crooked politician or a shady businessman.
Right. And you know, there's something wrong with everybody. And Trump may be the worst or whatever, or however you want to think about that. But God damn it, like everyone did something wrong.
Reagan was worse than Trump. Reagan invented AIDS.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is that no one, obviously, this is an obvious statement, no one is perfect, but everyone just likes to have their scapegoats. You know, Obama took us from, he went from saying that he was going to pull out of Iraq and Afghanistan to expanding our military operations into more countries than just Iraq and Afghanistan. He didn't close Guantanamo. He didn't do a lot of the things that he said that he was going to do. And people hail him in a regard that in many ways he does deserve. But it shouldn't be such a one-sided representation.
I mean, how was he going to shut down Guantanamo Bay when, like, where is he going to put all these prisoners? You got some of the world's deadliest prisoners.
You also have a lot of people in there who are just in there.
Like, I hate to get sent to Gitmo.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to go to Guantanamo.
I think if you get sent to Gitmo, your ass is cooked. I
Yeah.
think that's the worst prison to go to. How do I sign up to go to Guantanamo Bay?
No, I think there's some places where there's never been any cameras.
Yeah, them goddamn Trump detainment centers in Texas.
Oh yeah, man, that's horrible. That's so sad.
Man, he's a bad hombre.
Yeah, he is a bad hombre.
He's torturing those kids.
Yeah, he's not handling that right.
He's like the modern day Hitler.
No, let's not go that far. But what I'm trying to get at is that we have to, in America, we have to stop idolizing our leaders, and I think we should take we should take the lead of other countries that look at their leaders a lot more realistically, you know, like their people. We treat our presidents.
You know what happens in those countries? Let me tell you.
What? Assassinations happen here.
They've dragged presidents out of their office and killed them.
You know what?
A lot of those people are the same countries we're bombing right now, who just see the presidents as regular people.
Yeah, but what you saying that we shouldn't see the president as a regular person?
I'm saying, like, be careful what you ask for, because it will drag. We're lucky we don't live in that type of country where a president could literally be dragged out of his office.
I don't know if I would rather live in a country where that happens or in a country where he's so heavily protected that it's impossible for us, even if we really wanted to, to change anything. You get what I'm saying?
He's the leader of the free world.
Yeah, but he's the president. I'm not speaking just about Trump. I'm speaking about the office that he's in. It's too powerful. Every president has taken just incrementally a little bit more power every term until I don't want to get to this point that it seems like we're already at where they're just the de facto king. Like like we have we have a whole lot of freedoms, more freedoms than most people have ever had in the history of humanity. But we're ceding a lot of power to one person every 4 years. That's all I'm saying.
And he doesn't even get all the power. You see what they're doing? They're ready to impeach Trump.
But can they?
Yeah.
They couldn't.
Yes.
They couldn't convict him of lying.
They're gonna get him on something else.
I doubt it. He's almost out.
They're trying to get him out of here before the election begins.
Well, what point does what?
I guess it bans him from getting certain benefits.
Well, I mean, I'm tired of hearing about all this Russia crap. I mean, like, if you really don't want the guy to be president, just don't let him be president again, because you failed in doing that for the past 3 years. His term is almost over. So just focus on not getting him reelected instead of trying to get him impeached for the last few months of his presidency. That doesn't make sense to me.
That's crazy. He's going to go down as a president now. If he doesn't get impeached, I'll let that man become the highest ranking government official.
That's what I'm saying. It's dangerous to have that type of power in one office when you have people like that who can just.
It still seems unreal how he became president. It seems unfucking real. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I think that I think that it's something that needed to happen.
Like, it seems unfucking real.
Because as humans, we don't seem to do anything until we reach some type of precipice where, like, everybody's, like, really afraid that we can't turn something back, and then that's when everybody decides to get their stuff together.
Yeah, he made America get his shit together. They got all types of people running for presidency.
Yeah.
You got, like, what, about 6 women running for presidency?
Mm-hmm. I say this all the time. He created a space in politics where new things can happen.
Because he's so terrible. Like, he's terrible. Like, no one knows what the fuck he's doing.
Does anyone know what the fuck they're doing?
But he especially, like, Obama knew what the fuck he was doing when he didn't shut down Guantanamo Bay.
Okay, yeah, Obama definitely.
He knew what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, he definitely is not, like, just randomly doing shit. He made plans, yes.
Like, he was a smart man.
Yes, he was, is, and will be intelligent. But he was very good in terms of the way he handled himself and the way that he took on the challenges that come out of nowhere that I can't even imagine dealing with being one person. He kept his composure. He's nothing like Trump in the sense that he made us look good, and he followed through, I imagine, on as much as he could, and as far as his promises are concerned. But I just don't like it when people are one-sided in the way that they describe anyone.
I think he should get a statue.
He probably will get a statue. But the point I'm trying to make is that no one should get a statue. No one needs a statue. We need to get away from this idea that there needs to be one regular ass human being who's no different from any of the rest of us at the very core of who they are.
People need false idols, man.
No, we don't need false idols.
We don't need them, but people want false idols.
Yes, people want to be led and they want to be told what to do and how to do it and when to do it. But until we all develop a sense of agency, I think we're going to be repeating the same issues. The problem, I think a lot of the problems stem from the fact that we keep relying on one person to solve all of our issues.
We don't need a parliament. You want us to get a parliament?
Yes, I've said this, and I've said this before, that we should, that even though our model of government is extremely successful compared to a lot of other attempts at democracy around the world, I do think that our major flaw is the two-party system.
We need like 3 presidents at once.
Like a triumvirate?
Yeah.
Like a Roman thing? Okay. That could work.
That'd be insane. That'd be nuts. It was like Royal Rumble in the White House.
But how would that work? Will like one person get to decide what happens for like a third of the year?
No, it's just like they all get together, play motherfucking rock, paper, scissors. And be like, yo, bro, like you're up next to take this fall. They get together, make decisions, and be like,
rock, paper, scissors to decide
the fate of the free world.
Who knows? That might be happening already.
Because Congress don't give a fuck.
Oh my God, they do not. They don't do anything. They just collect a check.
Yeah.
They get paid to filibuster. That's so crazy that that's a thing, that they just talk until you can't do anything. That's a technique
like
in Congress. Yeah, they just talk about shit, just nothing, until time runs out. There's people who've like read entire books for the purpose of not being able to vote on something.
Really?
That's what we're paying you for. But I don't know, Jamal. I don't know. I'm just doing this to. I'm having these interviews for several reasons, and I'm thinking about making an intro about this later. But I'm doing this so that I can. It's easy to think about what you believe in inside your head, but it's a whole other thing to voice those opinions. And this is helping me kind of solidify what I actually think I believe.
All right, make sure you edit out those Hitler comments. I don't want people coming back to me.
Dude, you made some Hitler comments, and people might hear that. Are you okay with that? Because you said it. You know you're being recorded.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that I really don't try to react offhand to what anybody says.
Some wild shit every now and
Yeah,
then.
everyone says some wild shit every now and then, which is why I don't make a big deal about it, because I've said some wild shit myself, and sometimes I enjoy doing that.
But they are off the basis of an argument, so you can't really. I didn't say give that nigga a statue. I said,
yeah, you were saying not to give him a statue. Yeah. Just to be very clear about that, Jamal does not want a statue of Hitler.
I don't want a statue of Hitler.
He was saying that there should not be one.
Yeah. He doesn't deserve a statue, but you know who does deserve a statue?
Who deserves a statue? The Rock?
The Rock actually might deserve a statue.
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson might deserve a statue.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Dwayne Johnson deserves a statue, but no one else.
Yeah, it's The Rock. You see what type of positive shit he's on nowadays?
Yeah, he's very positive.
He could be Obama. He could play a movie about a buff Obama. Imagine going to theaters and seeing a buff Obama.
Above. Okay, that would be interesting. I can't lie. That would be pretty interesting.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Lethal legislator.
Yeah.
Mm. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Nah.
Okay, we're good. That